Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group and this day's newspaper Limited Group Executive Director Kayode Komolafe. Good morning, Mr. KK.
Good morning,
Thank you for joining us in our new studios. Don't you just love the studio?
KK. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. All right, we'll go straight into the newspaper review, and of course we'll start with This Day on Sunday, the newspaper of record. The lead story here says, "My mission is to unite all Nigerians," says Tinubu, preaches against religious divisions. That story is on page 5. And there are 3 important riders there, illuminating the headline. Restates commitment to revamp nation's economy, defeat terrorism, banditry. Assures Northern Christians of fairness, says farmers, herders clashes to be tackled. Atiku slams Tinubu over Plateau visit, says ordinary Nigerians aren't his priority. I believe, KK, that the president spoke in Jos, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it has to do with at the funeral, exactly. So that's the cover picture. We share in your grief, it says, showing the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, President Tinubu himself, the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Netanwe Goshe Yiwata, during the burial of the mother of the APC National Chairman at the Church of Christ in Nation, Fidelis Tabgon Road in Jos yesterday. That's where the president spoke. And then on top of that lead story, I never accused Buhari of links to Boko Haram. Jonathan clarifies. We had a long debate during the newspaper review yesterday on what Jonathan was quoted to have said about the, what he thought that thinking that the Boko Haram people nominated the former President Buhari as their negotiator, and that he felt that with that background, everything and anything Boko Haram will be wiped off. But it turned out that we had to live with it all the 8 years of Buhari. We're still living with the effects now. But of course, Garba Shehu, responded to say that that never happened. You misinterpreted what was happening. So Jonathan has come out to say he was misunderstood or misquoted. Clarifications here and there. On top of the masthead, Omishore declares intention to contest for Osun governorship race. That's on page 9. Osun is getting interesting. Omishore wants to pick the ticket on the platform of the APC to challenge the dancing governor, their friend, Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke. And the window story, with 64% contribution, equities raised total market capitalization on Nigerian exchange to 140.6 trillion naira. That's an important story on page 5. 140 trillion naira. That's the 64% contribution, equity raised total market capitalization on the Nigerian exchange. That is massive. It's encouraging. It shows that yes, there are issues, but when you look at things in totality, maybe Nigeria is still fairly solid when it comes to the finances of the corporate sector. And then, last but not the least, on occasion of World Teachers' Day, UNESCO, ILO, UNICEF say 44 million additional teachers needed worldwide. That story is also on page 9. And I'm sure that Nigeria will need a whole lot too out of the 44 million that's been touted. I'm sure that Nigeria will also require a good chunk of quality and qualitative, teachers. KK, those are the stories on the cover of This Day Today.
Okay. So this story of This Day on Sunday, it's also related to the photograph there. And that was the story. Actually, the story was that the president was in
Jos
yesterday, at the weekend, and he was there to pay his last respects to the mother of the APC
National Chairman,
Professor Netanwe Yiwata. That is Mrs. Nana Yubada. And it was, of course, expectedly, on such occasions, statements to be made, apart from the sermon by the clergy, I mean, it has become part of our culture now that when politicians, attend church services, the statement they make,
becomes
they tend to drown,
the sermon itself.
Whereas the most important statement that you expect in the church service should be the sermon of the preacher. But that is just by the way. Well, the theme that the president explored on that occasion, I think, was quite apt, and timely, and relevant, to the mood, and that is, giving the reassurance that it's going to be a unity president, and that as a leader, that his administration, will not, discriminate, against any religion, and that he had to give a personal example of himself, of being a Muslim and having a wife who is not just a Christian but also a pastor. And said that, that Christian Muslims that, will all unite, for the same national purpose. So, preaching the message of unity, and harmony among the various people of Nigeria, irrespective of their ethnicity and religion, I think it was quite, a positive message, that the president gave there.
True. More so, given what is happening in some, a section of America, that a few senators are saying, oh, Nigeria, you need to fix the attacks against Christians, for which the presidential spokesperson had to respond, I believe, yesterday to say, no, what is going on is not a religious war. It's affecting everybody. Maybe a good number of Christians might have been affected, but it isn't necessarily exactly. Yeah. Exactly,
Steve. I think that was quite a good response. Even without saying so, into it. Because the truth of it is that criminals, bandit terrorists, are killing Nigerians.
Yes.
Christians, Muslims, who do not even believe in anything. And our national focus should be to fight terrorism, and stop the killing. But that nobody can say that in Nigeria there is any state bagged attempt to kill.
That's been killed on account of his religion.
So there's there's nothing like a targeted killing of Nigerians backed by the Nigerian state, which is what those who go to America, to mobilize American senators, which is forced.
I think Senator Ted Cruz, isn't it?
It was Senator Ted Cruz last week or the week before. Bill Maher, the comedian, had come out to say that they killed over 100,000 Christians, which the Minister of Information clarified again, reeling out a lot of statistics. There's been a lot of pushback by the West. The international media believe that there's this targeted attack on Christians, but we have heard some, governors of some states like Plateau mention issues of genocide and land grabbing, and talks like that can probably fuel those sort of rhetorics. But we need more statistics. I think that really is the bottom line of it all.
And how government officials respond, the language that is deployed is important, given what Ted Cruz and a few others are proposing to say, okay, let's start with the government officials so that, they'll be, barred or something from coming to America and things like that. As inflammatory as that might be, how you respond, the sort of language that you use will also be very important, because that might, without presenting your case properly, you might come across as reinforcing the fears that they have.
Yes.
No, I think it is important to make the clarification. I think the mischief, the Americans are being mischievous. In this matter, even when they have their own problem of racism, which they are not
plenty problems.
Racism, gun violence,
plenty problems.
I think we should make the decision. I mean, there is, like we have all, as Nigerians here admitted here, there is no Nigerian that can deny the fact that, you know, that innocent people have been
Yes.
you know, killed, you know,
Sadly.
in the
Sadly.
you know. But then what they are insinuating is that there is an official, you know, position, you know, official Muslim to kill people of a particular religion, and in this case, Christians. If you remember, even before the cruise, President Trump himself said it in one statement where he said, you know, Christians are being, you know, have been killed in.
That has always been Trump's position, even in his first term.
So I think it is important for Nigerians to unite, you know, to unite, you know, in refuting it, because it is false.
Yeah.
You know, whether it is truth,
and to also unite in ensuring that killings are not going on at all.
That's what I'm saying.
That will actually be the most important thing.
That is the first position. That is the first position, that we should unite, you know, first of all, to support, you know, the security forces to stop killings, you know, of all of any Nigerian, of any Nigerian, whether Christian or Muslim or non or people of no faith at all. But at the same time, it is important, you know, for us as a nation to unite, so that, you know, like, I mean, it is pure falsehood to say that the Nigerian state, you know, backs, you know, the killing, you know, of any Nigeria on the basis of a religion. That there is no, you know, I mean, there is no official religion.
Well, was that the actual comment by Ted Cruz?
I think he was referring to negligence, not that there's an official backing.
No. But when you say you are, you know, I mean, you are moving to impose sanction. You are imposing sanction on officials. You know, this is
for what he perceives to be their negligence in stemming the tide.
This is international relations now. You know,
that's true.
Yes, it's international relations. I mean, the Americans are. You know, I mean, when you say he
doesn't have the power,
so are you saying by the sanctions being imposed, he's implying that it's backed by the state?
Of course,
killings of Christians.
Of course, that is it.
That he actually.
That is it. You know. And I'm saying that we should not permit that. You know, why we unite to solve our problem. I mean, problem of insecurity. We should not allow people to, you know, in a very mischievous, you know, an opportunistic manner, you know, to cause problems for us, you know. Because when you say that, you know, I mean, it could engender division, you know, and bitterness even within Nigeria, because of the false portrayal, you know, of our real situation. So the falsehood in their position should be well, you know, exposed, you know, and, you know, that should be
also a wake-up call for the security forces, really, because I mean, it does not project Nigeria in any good light. If this is
because people are dying anyway.
People are dying, and the misinformation is being, you know, bandied around, and we need to be sure that the people that are being killed are not just, you know, they are Nigerians. They're all Nigerians at this point. So
no. Again, that would be wrong. We don't need any American government, American senator to tell us.
No, we're talking about international relations.
I'm just saying that, you know.
We're talking about international relations.
In doing so, we should also be fair, you know, to ourselves, you know. As we speak, you know, every now and then, security people, you know, soldiers, policemen, security people are being killed, you know, defending us, you know. So, I mean, it's not as if insecurity is not being fought. We should be fair to ourselves, you know. So we don't need any lecture, you know, from Washington, you know, to tell us that we should deal with our security. You know?
Yeah, but we can't avoid it.
We
can't avoid the international scrutiny.
We're not an island.
The international scrutiny may come.
No. Nobody tells. I mean, okay. Who is telling the Americans, you know, that, I mean, the way they are handling racism in their country, that is.
Everybody makes comments.
Okay, which country has attempted to impose, you know, sanction on America, you know, with the fate, you know, of people.
Every country has their own diplomatic.
Which country would
they have their own diplomatic. Mr. Komafe, you cannot breeze it away. You cannot just
there is no basis for that paternalism. You know, America has no basis, has no right to go and lecture us how we manage our.
But they had rights.
Yes.
But what happened when they also said that those who work against democracy in Nigeria
we should be self-respecting. What of the bastardization of democracy in America? Who is imposing sanction on America with what Trump is doing to American democracy? No, I mean, we should be self-respecting. I am saying that America has no basis to come and lecture us.
But we know a number of people who have been denied visa, who are on the list of those who can go to America on account of the road
we must not glorify that. We must not glorify that. Because nobody has denied members of the Trump administration.
So when you say these things, you are implying that the image of Nigeria worldwide should not be taken into account. That's what you're implying.
We should
because we're saying that the international community.
I am saying that we have insecurity problem in Nigeria, and it's only fair to admit that our security forces, our defense security forces, are dealing with the situation. Except we're denying that.
No.
And in doing so, we don't need lecture from anybody to tell us what to do. We should be self-respecting as a nation.
That is true.
No, it's true.
It's just that we're not of this neo-colonial mentality. We don't need any validation from anybody about how we tackle insecurity.
We're not in control of the consequences.
This is Nigeria.
And it is because of the fear of the consequences that you have officials trying to explain themselves, so that they won't be on the list of America.
That is the neo-colonial mentality. So both officially and unofficially, the one that we are displaying here now is the unofficial neo-colonial mentality. So those people who think that
we're displaying where?
On this table here.
On this table.
That's not what we're displaying.
They attempt to justify that. I mean that Americans have the right to come and tell us.
No, we're not justifying it. We're not justifying it. But we're saying that once those things are applied, as they have been applied in the case of those that Americans and other European countries say that they worked against democracy, it stands, isn't it? So if it becomes an American position that certain people are suspected to be negligent, not necessarily aiding in the killing, but to be negligent in what they perceive to be happening in some parts of Nigeria, then they put them on a list that they can't enter America again. We can speak against it, we do not support it, but that's the consequence of what will happen. And that's not pandering to the interests of America or neocolonialism. That's not what we're doing.
No, that's not what we're doing at all. I mean, that America is its own sovereign. They have a right to decide who can enter their country, who they can sanction or not. It's not in our place to say, oh, they shouldn't be issuing us letters.
They revoked the visa of the whole president of Colombia.
They did.
What did he say? He says, I don't care.
Yes.
So we can as well say that.
We can as well say that as well. But I
am not saying they don't have the right, but I'm saying that as Nigeria, we should not be glorifying that, because in doing so, their action is based on a false premise.
We're not glorifying it.
No,
we're just
my position,
and we don't need their validation about how we run our democracy or how we will ensure our security. I'm saying that we should talk as members, as citizens of a nation that is self-respecting. A nation that is self-respecting does not need any validation from any imperial power about how it manages affairs.
My position is that this is a wake-up call. Whether we like it or not, it's a wake-up. The insecurity in Nigeria is alarming. We are seeing killings every other day in different parts of our country. It is sickening. It is sad. Nigerians cannot keep dying. Whether we like it or not, this is the reality at this point. And the
government shouldn't be negligent.
Government should not be negligent.
I'm also saying finally that our security forces are dealing with the situation, and we must acknowledge that. I'm saying we should be fair to people.
Yes, we always do.
As we speak,
Yes, we always do.
I mean, every now and then, people, soldiers are being killed, policemen are being killed, security people are being killed, defending or solving the problem. So you cannot discount that simply because of one mischievous person saying in
nobody's discounting that. No, absolutely not. Our security forces are doing their best. They are doing a good job, and like you've said, they are dying as well. They are part of the people that are being killed with this through this terrorism attack.
They shouldn't die. They shouldn't die.
Nobody should have to die.
Exactly. Thank you. That is the point.
Pure terrorism. Should we go to this day style, or are you good with?
Or we look at.
Let's go to this style
so that we can have
and
time.
The cover, yes.
Maybe we should take.
We already have this day style on.
Okay, maybe we should take President Goodluck's clarification is very important.
Okay, very quickly.
Should we take it after?
Yes, I think it should be commended because this is what is called grace, in dealing. No, it's not really an error, in making the clarification because it says that it was not accusing Buhari, and neither was he saying that Buhari was having link with Boko Haram. That rather it was saying it in the context of the fact that Boko Haram in its method, is the duplicity of the group, by naming Buhari, who himself later even was a victim, because it was if you remember, it was attacked.
Yes,
because of it narrowly escaped.
Yeah.
And in any case, it would have been absurd to say that Buhari supported Boko Haram because throughout the 8 years of his presidency, the attacks, terrorism, continued. So, by making the clarification, I think it was a good thing on the part of President.
Just to be on the same page, KK. So his clarification is that even though Boko Haram nominated him as a negotiator, he never played that role.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I never had any link with Boko Haram. Thank you.
That's fine.
You
Right.
put it better.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll pull up this day style and cover
Back
picture.
to this day style.
Back to this day style cover picture. There is our First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and the title there is A Force for Good. And you know that she's been doing all this great philanthropic works, and I will read the editor's note rather. She wrote, in the story of Nigerian politics and society, some figures stand out not only for their positions, but also for the ways they redefine service. Senator Oluremi Tinubu, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has long occupied such a space. Known to many simply as Remi, she has been called politician, pastor, philanthropist, mother, and mentor. Yet, beneath those titles runs a clear philosophy. Leadership is about service, and public life should be anchored in compassion, discipline, and faith. As Nigeria marks 65 years of independence, her story feels especially timely in a country where politics often inspires cynicism. Oluremi Tinubu's journey offers a reminder that influence can be used not just for power, but for the good of society, and Konya wrote that correctly. This is really, describes the First Lady of Nigeria, who's been, doing her Renewed Hope Initiative program since she became First Lady of Nigeria. Some of her empowerment program, like the Women Economic Grant, she's, giving billions of naira to a lot of people, empowering women, supporting persons with disability, health and social welfare. She's done that. She's, she donated billions of naira to some of those states that have been, people have been displaced, like in Benue and in all of those northern states as well. And she's also done, her Renewed Hope Initiative food outreach program. She's done her education and youth development program. Only recently she did a nice program for the young ladies called Flow with Confidence. And, she really is a force for good. And like I always say on my program, I'm very proud of the First Lady of Nigeria for all her philanthropic endeavors.
We all are.
Yeah.
And I love that touch of green.
Yes.
The
65 years.
Touch of green. She's 65, Nigeria is 65.
Yes.
And then how did she celebrate it? Indirectly, 20-something billion naira raised for the National Library. History will remind her kindly,
I hope
for that intervention.
I hope
Beautiful
so, really.
intervention.
Congratulations, really beautiful cover.
Okay.
All right.
Keki, any word on that before we quickly look
I cannot put it better. She's indeed a force for good.
She is.
Absolutely.
And also just to point out that in the profile, this day style also was able to capture what she is, according to the magazine, the organizing principle, the philosophy behind what the First Lady. So, I invite the readers to check that the philosophy behind our activities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think she'll probably be one of the most prepared, if not the most prepared First Lady
of our time.
Of our time, given a trajectory. 8 years as First Lady in Lagos State, 12 years as Senator representing Lagos Central. And with her teaching background and different things, well prepared for the job.
You put it right. One of the most prepared First Ladies of our time.
Absolutely. All right, KK, let's look at Sunday Telegraph and then a bit of Sunday Tribune. Maybe two stories from them that appear to be important. If you look at the cover of Sunday Telegraph, the main story, the lead story, 2027 rompers in ADC over Article's ambition, Obi Moore's exit, Labour Party, PDP to open talks after Ibadan conversation. So that's politics. And then on top of that, Akinterewa, why United Nations Security Council said may elude Nigeria. Failure to appoint envoys. President's absence at Onga, bad diplomacy. I think on the international level, given that Onga just held, this is an important story coming from somebody like Dr. Akinterewa, who knows the terrain. And people are still wondering, why the delay? Why this delay 2.5 years after in appointing envoys, ambassadors and high commissioners to where they are needed? That's on the cover of Telegraph. While on the cover of Sunday Tribune, the lead story is on a bad, a horrific note. Bandits unleashed terror in Kogi. Yesterday, it was Kwara that was on focus, and it was as bad as it could be. But this time around, it's on Kogi. Abduct wife, children, shoot husband.
Terrible.
Kidnap 7 travelers on highway, demand 100 million naira ransom. 2 local governments ban sale of petrol in jerry cans over insecurity. And then Sokoto residents demand right to self-defense against bandits. So when we talk of insecurity and when we talk about what might, appear to be a kind of negligence, even though they are trying, but then all these deaths keep coming in, you can appreciate, where people are coming from. And last but not the least, still on the cover of Tribune, ASUU, 14-day ultimatum, NANS threatens to shut down activities nationwide. So we are back to all these strikes, threats of strikes here and there. We thought that we had a respite for good 2 years, but here we are. Are they real, or are they preparatory to the political electioneering thing that is about to be unleashed on us, KK?
Yeah. Let's take the ASUU strike.
Yeah.
I think all the necessary steps, should be taken to prevent another disruption in academic activities, Because, of recent, one of the things that used to be the remark was that, okay, at least for some time now, there has been a respite on the campuses. So the government, and ASUU, should have constructive engagement, to prevent disruption of activities, and especially that the students are also threatening, NAS is threatening that in the event of any strike, they will also join the protest, and that will
that'll be a sad one.
Terrible.
It will ground everything.
So it's a good thing that there's a notice now. So the opportunity of the notice should be taken, swiftly to prevent, another strike. The nation cannot afford, another season of disruptions, on the campuses. That maybe the other story.
The envoy, the United Nations.
Yes. I think it's well put, by Professor Akinterewa. I mean, you cannot conduct diplomacy without having ambassadors, in the country that we are. I think it is important, that lacuna in our diplomatic efforts, should be filled, immediately. Because just like you said, people have been wondering that after 2 years, the withdrawal of the former ambassadors.
Yeah.
That up to now we have not had.
No.
So it is important that.
Because people can be looking at the country that is seeking a permanent seat on the UN.
I'm also in this case, it's not as if we are saying that we don't have ambassadors in some areas, but it's all over.
All over.
And before it used to be that maybe in that area
some have not been appointed.
We have not been.
I mean, we've been talking about this for almost 2 years. It feels like it's just falling on deaf ears. Is it not important? These
there was a time that lists came out and we saw some names, some of them funny, some of them interesting. Speculation.
By the way.
Maybe there was a list at some point, but then there wasn't an approval. And once you have a delay like that, of course there will be a review up till the last minute before.
I agree with you.
They are over-reviewing. We need our ambassadors now. Mr. Komolafe, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on our Sunday.
Nice to be here.
That was a great conversation we had. Thank you very much.
A bit heated, but it was lovely.
Yes, we love it. See you next week.
All right, thank you, KK. And that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
And I'm Oji Okwe from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.